vous attendiez pas à celle-là, une Opel Insignia, mais c'est bientôt français, monsieur Fréour. Ah là, je vous... N'empêche,
je suis heureux.
Elle est jolie, écoute, elle est jolie. Là, on l'a en version Vauxhall, mais regarde, pour une berline...
Vauxhall, il faut rappeler, c'est le badge Opel pour l'Angleterre.
Ouais, je crois que les gens savent.
Ah là là, c'est pour le Brexit, oh là là. Oh là là.
Mais c'est pas facile, tu devrais être content. Tu sais, pendant longtemps, il y avait les... Opel n'était plus sur le marché des grandes berlines. Tu sais, on disait ça marche plus. Puis avec l'Insignia première génération.
Si je me pose une question.
Ouais, vas-y.
Opel, on l'a toujours gardé mi-figue, mi-raisin, c'est snob qu'on est.
Ouais.
Et là, tout à coup, le fait qu'elle devienne française, notre regard.
Non, Cédric.
J'ai peur que ce soit ça.
Non, Cédric, sois honnête. Sois honnête. Si tu veux aller jusqu'au bout, c'est parce que l'attaché de presse Grégoire Vitry fait très bien son travail, qu'il a jamais cherché à nous pousser sur le truc, mais il nous a expliqué la marque.
Il faut lui rendre hommage.
Il t'a amené essayer l'Opel en avant-première. Il a dit, mais voilà. Jamais il nous dit nous force. Et il a trouvé ça intelligent. Donc non, c'est pas ça. Il se trouve que ça tombe à ce moment-là. Mais c'est pas parce que c'est français. Viens t'asseoir.
T'as répondu.
Et qu'effectivement l'Insignia. Et en même
temps les modèles.
Et à ce moment-là, les modèles deviennent un peu plus intéressants.
Il fallait attendre. Il y a eu 15 ans.
Non, mais voilà, il n'y a pas.
Et le rachat arrive au bout.
Viens te mettre à droite. C'est drôle parce que toi tu n'as pas vu le truc.
Chapeau Tavares, il a racheté pile poil quand il fait. Pile poil quand ça devient bien.
Non mais franchement, tu sais, on enlèverait le badge. Moi j'avais été surpris quand on avait mis les photos de cette voiture, de voir comme quoi les gens, tu vois, effectivement, comme c'était une Opel, enfin on disait ouais bon, tu enlevais le badge, il y a de la recherche, c'est vraiment une très jolie berline. Et puis il faut laisser sa chance au produit, quoi, tu vois. Après, il faut voir. Je ne dis pas qu'on est fan ou qu'on aime. Je dis, tiens, il se passe des choses chez Opel. Ils ont travaillé, ça fait longtemps. Et l'Insignia, c'est une de leurs voitures phares, si tu veux.
Exactement. L'esprit de la 408, en fait, chez nous.
Ouais, c'est leur 508, même, tu peux dire.
Leur 508, 408
la 504, ils l'ont arrêté, Cédric, tu sais.
Quand
Bah, depuis que Jodassin est mort. Non, c'est pas vrai.
C'est pas vrai.
Bien, merde.
François va bien.
Ouais, non, très mal. Non, il se passe des choses chez Opel et c'est intéressant de suivre ça. Mais vous voyez, ce décroché de ligne, là, la façon dont le fastback redevient à la mode. Tu vois, tu montrais sur la MG, mais toutes les voitures ont des décrochés de ligne arrière, des pentes douces très jolies. Et
ça, c'est formidable parce qu'effectivement, il a fallu tout à coup que les CC, donc les berlines coupées, ouvrent la voie pour que tout à coup on ait de l'élégance dans
Grégoire, on a dit du bien de toi, je couperai, mais elle mesure combien?
Alors, elle a grandi.
Ouais.
Elle a grandi et elle a maigri. C'est ce qu'on se souhaite. Moi, j'aimerais bien que ça m'arrive, mais je pense que c'est cuit. Alors, je vais te dire une bêtise si je te donne une dimension. Elle a grandi de 55 mm. Et puis une autre cote qui est importante, c'est que les roues se sont écartées de 92 mm.
Non, mais c'est quoi? Elle mesure 4,70 m, 4,80
m. Le break fait 4,80 m.
Ah ouais, presque 5 mètres le break.
Ah ouais,
et la berline, c'est ça, on voit qu'elle est très étirée.
La berline doit être à 4,91.
D'accord. Ok, elle arrive quand en France?
Elle sera sur les routes en France au mois de juin.
D'accord, on va en reparler avec Maître Vergès et on se voit tout à l'heure avec le designer. Hein.
Il est top.
Il est top. Et Grégoire, présente-moi donc le designer de l'Opel Insignia. Redis-moi son nom. Niels.
Designer extérieur.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
I'll give you my it's spelled like I don't have a card, unfortunately. That's how it's spelled.
No problem.
Niels.
Niels Loeb. Okay. Comme ça, we'll have.
However,
so we have the
I
same.
think. I mean, this is a great view here because it not only has this more upright, almost shark nose gesture, but it looks really low and wide. So
yeah, it's true. We spent
when we did when we laid out the architecture on the vehicle, we really made sure that the hood was as long as possible, and also the way we positioned the wheels in the side view is another thing. But in terms of gesture, it was really important to get the grille that looks almost like it's in the middle of the car, and all the other elements sort of moving away from it. Right, so we wanted the grille to be the most dominant, much more 3D. So we really go into details. It's little details, much more 3D than before. We separated it off from these elements so that that's like the focus point. What's nice about the grille is not only the outside shape, but these surfaces here This is actually, it's the same plastic.
Yeah.
It's not two pieces, it's one piece, but it's treated in high gloss polished and matte. So it looks like the wind swell pattern on the ocean. So, you know, this
like a wave.
It's waves, it's waves. But from a distance, it's a nice wind blowing on there. So you can see it looks very windswept and aerodynamic, and that's because, again, the Monza is all about bringing over this, it's all about being more coupe-like and tighter and more striking proportions. I think we did here, this is really what Opel's all about, the modern Opels. Now, what we started off with was seating the sitting position much lower to give you a much sportier feel behind the wheel, and then everything in the interior was sort of designed around the driver. We really want to make it look and feel like a driver's car, important as the design itself. And so how we execute things, I think we've got it to a real high level. And one of the details, in fact, is this stitching here. The stitching is not real, but it's been integrated in the tool. So it's, again, the impression of premiumness without, you know, the expensive, let's say, sewed instrument panel that you would get on a Bentley. So there are some solutions. We can be very clever and innovative with things at still a very affordable price. And I think that's what we expect from this brand, is that we can offer people a car that looks like a BMW and still has something you can afford.
Is it more difficult to do a station wagon, or just?
It was a bit different. It wasn't more difficult or less. So from the Monza, it was really this line here, right, which comes down and it runs into the lamps. At the same time, you get the wing graphic, which the wings...
Your signature,
Our signature, and it's interrupted by the chrome, but from a distance you still get the impression it's running through. And another important feature is, of course, that in the side view, the chrome, if you look at it, looks very sporty, makes the car look very long and elegant. At the same time, if you look at the difference between the middle of the roof to the chrome, you were looking at about this much difference in height. So we have a full-sized luggage compartment. It's very functional, very practical. At the same time, it looks very sleek and low. And
very interesting, very interesting.
You know, you've got to trick your eye into thinking it looks like a coupe or a low car.
Thibaut explained me that also on the Crossland. You have the same feeling with the line.
And that's an Opel philosophy, the design philosophy. One of them is, how can we use bright work and lines in a way to visually trick the eye, to make the car look lower and wider? That's really key to sort of what we do every day. What's important for us, what you said about getting the proportions right. If you were to design a car like it was done in the 80s or in the 70s, even before, where, let's say, the limousine was a classic car.
Yeah, exactly.
If you were to try to do that same design, same proportions today, you would fail, because there are so many regulatory rules these days with PEDPRO, with NCAP, all this stuff.
Size of the mirror,
size, everything would be massive. So it would be huge. But what makes out a nice design is the height between the top of the hood to the wheelhouse, or the distance between the A-line and the wheelhouse. So this dash to axle, it's really important to make the car look classic, but in a modern way, and also the low hood. So that's why all these feature lines were done in a way to reduce this. Otherwise, if we didn't also have an active hinge under here, which is part of the architecture, it's a classic sort of pop-up hood, then we would have been considerably higher, and the whole thing will look dumpier and higher and more massive. So the trick today is to suck the air out of all the criteria, all the engineering criteria you get, and still create something that is really dramatic and sporty looking. I think that's really key.
Thank you. That's clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.